astounding, or what have you discovered which you were not aware before, even if it was present?
I actually didn't get, sorry.
What did you discover from this conversation? What did you discover from this conversation that you could not discover before, even
Hmm.
if data was the same?
Like, I'm not totally present. Uh, Whether my presencing is also one kind of downloading only. So, and then I think uh, I used to feel that I learned something, but I am still thinking now. I'm still thinking I'm in the process.
Hmm. All right. What more?
Mm. Mm. And I should be present with my thoughts and my intention with the people and with myself.
Mhm.
It should be more clear to myself first, then only I will gaze what can I give to others. And one more thing you told me, um, मैं लिखना भी फिर से क्वेश्चन पूछेगा. What new thing I got through the same data? एक चीज जो बोली है आपने वो मुझे याद है पर मैं बोल नहीं पा रही हूँ. That presencing, I mean, uh, was missing that time. मतलब, I through the course of time when I know someone, I thought I know her, the person, and that's why it stayed as a downloading with me, and I was again lost the presencing moment time,
Hmm.
maybe. That's I lost one point. I'm not able to frame it or मतलब वो बातों में नहीं आ पा रहा है मेरे पास.
Mhm. That's okay. But can you observe that somewhere my quality of attention needs to be worked upon?
Quality of attention.
So even if I am listening, I am empathetic with people, but if I am not focusing on the quality of attention, then do you think that listening will happen? Because listening is all about your quality of attention in that particular moment, right?
Sometimes I act of sometimes I act of quality of attention. Like I I am not attend I'm not prop giving 100% attention. Sometimes I look, but I keep on still into downloading or something. Sometimes I do this
Appreciate
too.
your openness, appreciate your courage, appreciate you for admitting I wanted you to come to this point.
Mm.
And I'm glad that it is coming from the horse's mouth. So when you are already aware now that I am not attentive always, but I show that I am attentive. But in my mind, I know that I am playing the tape again and I am engaged with my downloading mode. This awareness is critical. And this is your win now, that you have observed that I am not attentive and I catch myself that I am not attentive. Maybe in the past you did not catch yourself, but in this moment you have. The more and more you catch yourself, oh, I am not attentive here. My quality of attention is going down. Oh, I am not here right now. Oh, my downloading is there and I'm engaged with my downloading. When you catch yourself like that, you will be able to listen then. And the more and more you discover this thing and you admit, yes, actually, my quality of attention was not that great. Now you have arrived.
Hmm.
I hope you get the message, Minu.
Yeah, but I just want to repeat you that line. You were saying that uh, you connected with the divinity or something. I didn't get the whole line. You
You
connected
are
it with.
you are operating from the downloading. You are not operating from the divine. That means you are not creating any generative space because you are not listening. Why did that happen? Because you did not listen to you. So when I say that I listen to others always, others and everyone includes yourself. There is a difference in between listening to your downloading or engaging with your downloading and listening to what you want to do. Is it the programming or is it a generation of something new? This is what we are going to address today. So, good evening, everyone. And this is Dr. Pallavi here from the team of Kindness Corner. And today we are here to dive deeper into or to explore the fourth level of listening, and that is generative listening. And when we say generative listening, as the name suggests, it is generating something. It is generating something. So before you all came here, me and Meenu, were discussing about one conversation, which is about identifying whether I am in my downloading or I am in factual or I am in generative. And the result of this conversation was actually a wow moment for me as well because I could connect with what true listening can lead to. And when you are not listening, but you are in the downloading of I am listening, what can happen? So, generative listening is going to give you that distinction where you can identify whether I was listening to myself and the other person or I was listening to my downloading. So, the downloading is coming from the past. Is everyone clear with that? The downloading is coming from the past. And now, if I talk about factual listening, what did you understand about factual listening? Let's revise a little bit about our three levels so that we can come towards generative. So, what do you understand by factual listening?
We get mainly the facts out of it. It's like you gave one example that a person is talking about how he went, like he's telling something, but what is the main value addition or something like that? We take that point. Is it? Is it?
Okay.
And मैंने यही gave
Okay,
the
factual. You are take the facts, right? So,
fact.
anyone else who wants to share about what you learned till now in Kindness Corner about downloading factual or empathetic listening?
हेलो मैम।
Yes.
मैम, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल पहले तो हम डाउनलोडिंग सीखे थे। उसमें हम किसी भी इंसान के मतलब सिर्फ एक या दो बार मतलब उसको जानने के बाद मतलब इंटरेक्शन के बाद उसके बारे में जो भी हम राय बना लेते हैं तो हम उसको डाउनलोडिंग कहते थे। और फिर उसके बाद फैक्चुअल लिसनिंग पे आए थे। तो मतलब डाउनलोडिंग में भी काफ़ी हमने डिटेल में देखा, लेकिन ये सिर्फ मैंने मोटा मोटी बताया। और फिर फैक्चुअल लिसनिंग में हमने मतलब जब स्टेक एज ए एग्जिस्ट करते हैं, मतलब हाँ वो चीज़ है तो है, मतलब अभी उसमें क्या मतलब इतना ज़्यादा सोचना, सिर्फ फैक्ट है और उसको फैक्ट की तरह लेना, उसके बारे में ज़्यादा सोचना नहीं। और क्या बोलते हैं, हम उसको इमोशनली हम कुछ नहीं देखते। और फिर उसके बाद एम्पैथेटिक लिसनिंग में आई थिंक पिछले सेशन में नहीं था मैं, लेकिन उसमें आई थिंक करुणा भाव से सुनना किसी के, मतलब को उसकी तरफ से देखकर मतलब उसमें इन्वॉल्व होके सुनना, इसका एम्पैथेटिक लिसनिंग आई
Right.
थिंक यस।
So, as you rightly said, that empathy is empathetic listening. That means listening to the other person from that person's point of view, to look at the world from that person's point of view. So, I would not say that आप हर वक्त मतलब अगर आप 12 घंटे लोगों के साथ हैं तो 12 ही घंटे आप लोगों की साइड से दुनिया देखो, बिल्कुल भी नहीं. At least at the time of having this conversation, and when the conversation ends, you are free to think what you want to think, because downloading is always going to be there. So this is the fact. Now you, if you are truly following the factual listening, you will find out that this is a fact that I am not going to be ever empty, or I am not ever going to be without downloading. Downloading will always run. Sometimes I will be conscious, sometimes I will not be conscious to make a hold of it. But my work is to catch myself when I am having this conversation with other person, to see if I am hearing my downloading or I am listening to the other person. So empathy walk is about going in the other person's shoes and looking at the world, and that is called as empathic listening. Now the fourth level is generative listening. Generative listening is by far my most favorite topic, because in generative listening it is not about um, it is not about anything that you consciously do. Listening is never planned. Generative listening is never an agenda. For example, if I ask you, if you are married, and when you meet your this आपके जब आपके अभी प्रेजेंट के जो भी लाइफ पार्टनर है, जब आप उनसे पहली बार मिले थे, बहुत पहली बार, तो आपका एजेंडा उनसे शादी करना नहीं था. अगर आपकी अरेंज मैरिज और आपको लगता है नहीं शादी करना एजेंडा था, आप यू वर लुकिंग फॉर, लेकिन उनसे मिले आप और आप तभी ने ठान लिया कि नहीं, इनसे शादी मेरी होने ही वाली है, इसलिए आई एम मीटिंग दिस पर्सन. ऐसा नहीं था. यू वर आप भी उसको एक्सप्लोर कर रहे थे कि इज दिस राइट मैच फॉर मी और नॉट. अरेंज मैरिज हो या लव मैरिज हो, विच एवर मैरिज, सो यू वर ऑल्सो एक्सप्लोरिंग, and you when you found out something magical, then you said yes, right? So the agenda was not to get married to this person. Agenda was to get married, but not to this person particularly, right? It happened over the time, and then you started liking certain things about that person. You started falling in love slowly, and then you decided, all right, I would like to be I would like to make this person as a part of my life. So it happened over some time. Is that right? Yes. All right. So if it happened over time, there were some moments when you were like, oh wow, this is amazing, right? There were some conversations where you were like blown away, and that was generation of something new in your mind, in your soul. Some changes were made, and then you felt that this is just mind blowing. This is what I was looking for, and I'm so very happy that I got what I wanted. Right? Now, coming to generative listening, let's remember this example. And even if you are not married, you can imagine this situation where the two people meet each other, but पहले ही मीटिंग से उनका ये एजेंडा नहीं है कि इसी पर्सन से शादी करनी और किसी से नहीं. It happens over time. Generative listening happens with time, when you don't have any agenda. When you don't have any agenda to create generative listening, it happens. But when you are I am going to be such a great listener ना, देखना अभी, and I'm going to listen to everyone, और सबके साथ मेरा generative listening होने वाला है. What is this? Again, this is coming from ego, and now there is no generative listening that is going to happen, because there cannot be co-creation if your ego is dominating the conversation so much. I am going to listen, I am going to generate, I am the one, and I always listen. Now, if you are operating from this ego, then what is going to get emerged from the other person? When your ego is active, the other person's ego will also get activated to react to what you say. But when you are aware of your downloading and you are trying to look for disconfirming data means आप कह सकते हैं लेवल टू फैक्चुअल लिसनिंग में जब आते हैं आप, और आप सारे डाउनलोडिंग या आपको अभी तक जो भी इंफॉर्मेशन है पास्ट की उस इंसान के बारे में या उस परिस्थिति के बारे में, आप सभी को बाजू रखते हैं और आप देखते हैं यहाँ सत्य परिस्थिति क्या है, and then you get presented to the reality and you get some data which is factual, disconfirming. Why disconfirming? Oh my god, this is exactly different and opposite to what I was thinking about. That means it is opposite or it is different from my downloading. And if it is different from my downloading, it is disconfirming data. क्योंकि इस डेटा ने अभी मुझे जो मिला है ना, उसने टोटली अपोज कर, मतलब इतने सालों से मैं सोच रही थी कि इस इंसान के मन में मेरे बारे में बहुत नफरत है, इसीलिए ना दे आर नॉट टॉकिंग वेल टू मी. 20 साल से मैंने ये पकड़ के रखा था, ये मेरा डाउनलोडिंग था. लेकिन आज काइंडनेस कॉर्नर में आने के बाद मैंने सोचा कि चलो थोड़ी देर के लिए डाउनलोडिंग बाजू रख देते हैं, लेट मी लिसन टू दिस पर्सन फ्रॉम अ डिफरेंट पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू. तो मैंने थोड़ा करेज गैदर किया एंड आई जस्ट सैट डाउन विद दैट पर्सन थिंकिंग अबाउट लेट मी सी व्हाट कम्स, एंड देन आई सैट डाउन by suspending the downloading, let me look at this person as a human being and let us see what happens. And when I started listening to this person, initially तो मेरा downloading बहुत active हो रहा था, and then again I was trying again and again to suspend my downloading and to be in the moment so that I can look for some disconfirming data. And to my surprise, oh my god, it was OMG moment for me, because I could see that this person is actually is carrying inferiority complex, and this person thinks very highly of me. So because of that inferiority complex, this person started hating me, because all this person's life, this person's parents or family members have constantly compared me with them. So the mentioning of my name created hatred or pain in this person's soul, because constantly people around her or him, they made them feel lesser about themselves. Oh my god, this is the most mind blowing thing I could get. But if I'm operating from my downloading that this person is always rude to me, or this person never talks to me, or this person hates me, then can I have this kind of disconfirming data from this conversation? Absolutely no. But when I get this data, now do I have hatred or do I have compassion? Now, if I'm not attached to my downloading and to the person, I will be like, oh my god, I feel for this person now. Right? I didn't know that this was going on in this person's head for so many years. And this disconfirming data has blew my mind. And now I'm looking at the situation from absolutely a different point of view. Now, in this moment, when I have empathy and I go in the level of empathetic listening, and I just let this conversation flow ahead. Keep flowing with the conversation. Suspend the downloading, keep flowing. Keep your surprise, shock, and your amusement with the data aside. Keep flowing. Listen. And at the end of conversation, I find out that we are bonded together and now we are there for each other forever. I'm glad that I could make friends with this person. Now, this can be any of your cousin, this can be any of your friend, this can be any of your relative, this can be any of your siblings, this can be any of your friends, this can be any of your old classmate. And then you found out that we are so much alike. Oh my God, I wasted so many years in hating this person. I could have generated a beautiful friendship years back. And now this friendship is so beautiful because it emerged from nothing. Matlab, it has emerged from absolutely a negative phase. And this is called as generation of something new. This is called as co-creation. But then in this conversation, the other person was not trained. So it does not require two people to get trained. It requires only one person to have this initiative or to have this courageous step. And what was the courageous step? When this person A decided, okay, I know that this person thinks about me like this, thinks about me like that, but still, let me try. Let me try what happens. And I keep on keeping my downloading apart, suspending it, listen, be in the moment, and suddenly things start opening up. This will happen only if I have open will, if I am willing to explore, if I am willing to discover, if I am willing to suspend my downloading. So generative listening will happen only if you have open will. It will happen only if you have open will. Are you willing to take this conversation to the next level? To the next level, huh? Not to generative listening. Always remember, because generative listening will happen when you don't have an agenda of creating generative listening. If you have an agenda, then it will not happen. It's like आप आज बाहर जाओ इवनिंग वॉक के लिए या फिर कल मॉर्निंग वॉक के लिए जाइए और आप किसी भी पर्सन से मिलेंगे और आप इज इट पॉसिबल दैट यू विल बी लाइक हाँ इस पर्सन के साथ ना दिस पर्सन कैन बी माई बेस्ट फ्रेंड दिस पर्सन कैन बी माई गुड फ्रेंड doesn't happen because you don't you allow yourself to be yourself in the space of people where you get space, and it requires time. It's like you can look at generative listening like एक छोटी सी कली होती है ना उसका फूल में रूपांतर होता है. Generative listening is like that slow process. At the end of the process, what is created is pure joy, is pure creation of some new idea, a new possibility. Like the example I shared with you, in that example, the two people who were in their downloading that this person hates me, at the end of the day, at the end of the conversation, they realize what is the main story behind it, and then the person A creates empathy for the person B, and when person B starts opening up, they find out at the end of the conversation they are actually alike, they are very good friends, and they start opening with each other. And now they think, oh my God, I wasted so many years of friendship, but let me create and let me see what I can experience with this person in the next few years. So, why did it happen? Because person A was trying to hold space for the other person to be. Holding space for the other person is the key. Holding space for creative breakthrough. Forget about the other person. Forget about the other person. आप किसी के लिए कुछ नहीं कर रहे हो, because if you are feeling that I am holding space for them, again it is coming from ego. So holding space for the creative breakthrough, because this creative breakthrough is a breakthrough for me as well, right? Is for me as well. So when I hold space for the creative breakthrough, I am in the moment with open will, with open heart, and with open mind. Open will, willing to explore, even if I am bogged down by downloading. And that requires courage. That requires courage. So, are you courageous enough to have this open will for the people around you, at least for the stakeholders. Stakeholders means the key people in your life. If yes, then congratulations, because as you go with this intention of waiting for the creative breakthrough, the curtains are raised. Curtains are raised means what are the curtains speaking about? The curtains are about your downloading. एंड दिस कर्टन्स, आप कर्टन के इस साइड में हो, आप और आपके साथ जो भी बैठे वो कर्टन के उस साइड पे हैं, हमें ऐसा लगता है हम एक दूसरे को सुन रहे हैं, लेकिन कर्टन होने की वजह से हमें सामने वाला इंसान तो दिख ही नहीं रहा है। सो जो भी चल रहा है मैं सिर्फ कर्टन देख रही हूँ, ये कर्टन मेरा डाउनलोडिंग है। बट व्हेन द कर्टन्स आर रेज्ड, आई कैन सी द रियल पर्सन, आई कैन सी द होल वर्ल्ड, नाउ आई कैन मूव अराउंड। सो अगर मेरे सामने कोई बैठे हैं तो मैं उस साइड में जाकर उनके साइड से दुनिया कैसे दिखती है देख सकती हूँ ना, बिकॉज नाउ आई हैव दैट फ्रीडम। बट इफ देयर आर कर्टन्स, आई कैन नॉट डू दैट। Now my continuous work is to look for the disconfirming data, as simple as that. So my work or my agenda is not to create any generative space, not to create any generative listening. My work is to connect with disconfirming data. So in relationships, emotions are involved, right? In relationships, do you think that only factual listening can be helpful in relationships? If your emotions are not attached to it, does that happen? No, relationships are based on emotions, and emotions are not logical. ये चीज ना जितना हो सकता है अपने माइंड में फिट कर लो। इमोशंस आर नॉट लॉजिकल। तब हम लोगों को कहते हैं ना, मेरी वाइफ ना बिल्कुल लॉजिकल है, कोई सेंस नहीं है, कभी भी कुछ भी बोले। तो कोई वाइफ होगी वो बोलेगी मेरे हस्बैंड को ना बिल्कुल सेंस नहीं है, कभी भी मतलब उसका तो अपने गुस्से पे काबू ही नहीं है। पेरेंट्स बोलेंगे आजकल के बच्चे ना, उनको ना बिल्कुल मतलब वो हमें जो अवेयरनेस था खाना पीना या एक्टिविटी उनको बिल्कुल है ही नहीं। सो जब ये लोग कैसे पता नहीं रिश्ते निभाते हैं। So what are they talking about? They are talking from their logic side and logical sense कि ये सही है और ये गलत है। और रियलिटी ये है कि when it comes to relationships, every person is emotional. Every person is keeping his or her emotions in front, and emotions are not logical. People are logical and emotional both. Now just see how we put labels on people. My wife talks so much, रुकती नहीं है, my husband is so angry always. So we are putting labels on people. In fact, the reality is that people are in relationship with you and they are expressing their emotions, and emotions are not logical. So no person's emotion is ever going to make sense. And that's why at the end of the day, every person is a boring or a stupid one.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. And this is why we screw up in relationships, because now this data that we think that this can be a disconfirming data, but it is actually our downloading, because we have trained ourselves so well in labeling people that he is like that or she is like that. But the fact is that they also have many options and vocabulary to label us. So who is right and who is wrong? No one is right, no one is wrong, because we all are emotional beings, and it is okay to be stupid. It is okay to be stupid. Now you can't just you can't be you can't deal with the feelings on the basis of logic. Can you deal with feelings like for example, आप अगर आपको छोटे बच्चे हैं या आपने छोटे बच्चों को देखा है, ठीक है, आप कहीं मॉल में गए, कहीं भी गए, और वहां पे आपको क्या दिख गया, आपको फरारी दिख गई और आपके बेटे ने बोला मुझे फरारी खरीद के दो, तो लॉजिक नहीं है ना, लेकिन उसकी वो इमोशन है, तो क्या आप उसे लॉजिक से हैंडल करेंगे या आप उसके इमोशन से हैंडल करेंगे? यू विल नॉट यूज लॉजिक हियर, you will not use logic here, because that data is also coming from the person's emotions. So अगर आप इमोशन को लॉजिक से डील करना चाहते हैं तो this means you are always going to lose. But when you try to deal emotions with emotions, then there is a possibility of creating generative space. There's a possibility that now you are in generative listening, because now you are listening to the person and their emotions, and you're curious to know what they're feeling. You are not trying to analyze the person whether the person is right or wrong. You are not disregarding the emotions whether they are pleasant or not. So any transformative projects you might take in your life forward, it is also always going to be about change. For example, in this group also, there are hundreds of people who have joined the group, but if you can see the attendance, very few people come. Why? Because it is requiring some change in your viewpoint. So, transformative thinking or transformative projects always require change, and we are wired to resist change. And this is the reason why generative listening doesn't happen. So, anywhere, if you want to take your work to the next level, the first level requires is curiosity, and second level requires is empathy and compassion. In short words, I would say that the best formula, if you want to create a win-win situation in your relationship, think less and feel more. Think less and feel more, because when you are in a relationship and you are thinking, you're thinking whether it is right or wrong. You're constantly thinking, मैंने तो बोला था, पहले ही बोला था, उसने सुना नहीं, मैं क्या करूं, उसकी गलती है. But when you feel, now you're not thinking, अच्छा ये हो गया है, oh, अच्छा, this person is coming from this emotion. Now I can feel what they feel. Now I can sense what they want to create. Now I can see. So what is my next action? To understand the emotions and giving the response from that emotional space and not from the logical space. And just to just to make you understand how this process can go forward, number one, you can just make notes of this, because this is something you can say that this is a generative co-creation. You have participated immensely in creating this distinction that I'm going to share now. Number one step is to suspend the downloading. And for suspending the downloading, what is required is your awareness, right? Number two is, means number one step you can be that you can say that being aware and suspending the downloading. Number two is stepping into their shoes and see how the world looks from their eyes. How the world looks from their eyes. So if I am constantly in the judgment that this friend of mine has always hated me, is this going to allow me to go to the other side of the curtain? No, because I'm what I can see is only the curtain. But when I'm saying, okay, I'm curious, let me see what lies beyond this curtain. मुझे देखने दो. छोटे बच्चे होते हैं ना, अगर कोई रूम, आप एक्सपेरिमेंट कर सकते हो. आपके घर में जितने भी कमरे, एक कमरे को ताला लगा दो, एक छोटे बच्चे को लेकर आओ, मैं आपको अपना घर दिखाती हूँ. आप घर दिखा, जिस कमरे को ताला लगा है वो बच्चा आपको 10 बार पूछेगा, यहाँ क्या है, यहाँ कौन रहता है, यहाँ कोई बंद है क्या, यहाँ आपने कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट चीजें रखी, यहाँ आपका सोना है, यहाँ आपका कोई ट्रेजर है. एंड दे विल आस्क यू हंड्रेड्स ऑफ क्वेश्चन. इफ यू से नहीं नहीं वहां कोई सीक्रेट है, बस आप एक शब्द बोल दो सीक्रेट है, उसकी क्यूरियोसिटी इतनी बढ़ेगी. एंड दैट चाइल्ड विल फील लाइक मुझे देखना है अंदर क्या, प्लीज खोलो दरवाजा, प्लीज खोलो. एंड यू विल बी लाइक नो नो, आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू ओपन द डोर. एंड दिस पर्सन विल बी लाइक, बच्चा आपको छोड़ेगा नहीं, राइट, कि यहाँ मुझे क्या है तो दिखना ही है. सो बी दैट चाइल्ड. and see what lies behind that curtain. And when you are curious and the curtains are raised, you can see the actual person. तो जिस पर्सन को आपने इमेजिन किया था ये पर्सन ऐसा होगा वैसा होगा, कर्टन रेज करने के बाद when I look at the person with no downloading, with no mask, and I just try to move my body. I just go towards that direction where I can see the world from this person's point of view. Now I see the world in a very different light. And now I can see and look at myself from their point of view. And now my heart is filled with compassion for them. In this space, this person and me are not separate. And this is the space which is called as the space of creative breakthrough. And this is the space from where new ideas, new possibilities emerge. If you have read any stories, autobiographies, success stories of companies like Infosys, Tata, Mahindra, whatever, you'll find out that the origin of all these great ideas are just the result of generative listening of only two, three people together. And what was born was something which was unimaginable by other people. Take it Amazon or Amazon. Amazon, what is Amazon doing? अमेज़न ने एक छोटा-सा प्रॉब्लम देखा कि लोग शॉपिंग करने के लिए बाहर जाते हैं। तो कौन से प्रॉब्लम्स फेस करते हैं? तो पहले तो अपने घर से निकलते हैं, गाड़ी चलाते हैं या फिर रेंट से कुछ हायर करते हैं, देन दे रीच द शॉप, फिर वो खरीदते हैं। कभी उनको ट्रायल करने का शौक होता है, कभी नहीं। फिर घर आते हैं, फिर ट्राई करते हैं, फिर उनको समझ में आता है ये तो मेरे साइज़ का है ही नहीं या मुझे ये पसंद नहीं आया, मुझे एक्सचेंज करना है। दे चेंज देयर माइंड और फिर वो फिर से जाते हैं। तो ये सारे प्रोसेस में लूजिंग आउट on a lot of time, money and resources and emotional energy. सो अमेज़न ने एक बहुत ही सिंपल प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व किया कि लोगों को कहीं जाने की ज़रूरत ही नहीं पड़ेगी। तो क्या एक पर्सन ने सोचा और हो गया? हमें इतना सिंपल दिखता है, उतना सिंपल है नहीं। बिकॉज़ 2-3 पीपल वो लोग बैठे, फिर उन्होंने बहुत सारा ब्रेनस्टॉर्मिंग किया एंड देन दे माइट हैव थॉट, they might have taken interviews of many people, they might have listened to many people what is the major problem of their life. And when they listen to it and then created some factual data, they shared with each other and they started listening to each other. And in that generative space this idea came, what if we do something like this with no extra cost? And they started it when no one was doing this. Nothing of this sort existed before. So did this come from downloading or their past? No, it came from the future, from the emerging future. And today, every one of you on this call has paid to Jeff Bezos, right? And we don't know Jeff Bezos. We have paid to Jeff Bezos because one day, Jeff Bezos decided to create this space of generative listening with his team of people. You can create miracles if you just implement and keep on practicing listening. This can transform your business. This generative listening, not just generative listening, all the levels of listening. If you just go and climb the ladder of listening, downloading, factual, empathic, and allow the space to create generative listening, then you can create transformation in your money area, in your job, in your business, in your relationships, and in your happiness as well. And this is just the first step. Why first step? Because there are enemies. We'll talk about the enemies of generative listening in the next coming sessions. But where was I? Our step was stepping into their shoes and see how the world looks from their eyes. Then the next step is redirect. Redirect. Redirect क्या करना है? डाउनलोडिंग आते रहेगा ना, वो तो बार बार आते रहेगा। आप सोच रहे हो कि इस पर्सन को मुझे सुनना है, आप ध्यान लगाते हो, वो डाउनलोडिंग स्टोरी, उस पर्सन ने कुछ रेड कलर का नाम लिया और आपको रेड रोज याद आ गया, उसने किसी बुक का नाम लिया, आपको उस बुक के ऑथर की हिस्ट्री चल रही है, सो कुछ ना कुछ ट्रिगर आएगा, एक वर्ड से यहाँ आपके पास डेटा प्रोसेसिंग स्टार्ट हो जाएगा, एंड दैट इज डाउनलोडिंग. नाउ यू विल रीडायरेक्ट योर माइंड. Yes, I know that, but I choose to listen to this person. You redirecting your mind to come into that moment again and again, and the next step is you let it go. Downloading आते रहेगा, I let it go, I let it go, I let it go, and the last step is now you observe how the new possibility is created. Let me see what new possibility is created. And this is generative listening. And when you are understanding from their point of view, listening begins when you have curiosity, when you have courage, and when you have compassion. Now, I would like to listen from your side. What did you get out of this conversation today? Yes, Meenu.
So much, so much. It's like you just revised everything again, mm, and I was like, I was just repeating theory. I was not doing the practical. I'm thinking. So yes, लाइक मैं अभी ये फिर से मैं ऐसे देख के नहीं बताना चाहूंगी. मैं ये कह रही हूँ कि जैसे जनरेटिव लिसनिंग है और ये सारे ऐसे टूल्स हैं सो दैट वी कैन कनेक्ट मोर एंड और ये जो मतलब ये कुछ भी है अगर मैंने थोड़ा बहुत मैंने करनी मतलब बात करने की भी कोशिश की है एंड आई टेल माई साथ में जो भी हम सब यहाँ पे इकट्ठा हैं मैं सबसे बताना चाहूंगी कि बहुत बहुत हाई लेवल क्यूरियोसिटी चाहिए, हाई लेवल कंपैशन चाहिए इसके लिए. इट्स लाइक जो हम कंपैशन बोलते हैं वो बोलने के लिए बहुत छोटी चीज है बट इट्स नीड लॉट ऑफ एफर्ट. तो वो है एंड यस यू अलाइन मी अगेन. थैंक यू सो मच Pallavi.
Thank you, Meenu. Thank you for your awareness. Thank you for your courage, and thank you for being in the moment to risk. And what you have discovered right now and what you said itself is a co-creation. And if you all can see the space that Meenu created for herself, this is generative listening, because she discovered something new. Something new was co-created in her mind. So generative listening is like, see, simple example of this conversation. You are not the same person before this conversation started. अगर आपको लगता है कि ये conversation के बाद ना I'm a little bit changed person, then you were in generative listening. So generative listening हमेशा होने के बाद समझता है कि ये generative listening था, because now you are not the same person. So thank you for demonstrating that. Yeah, anyone else who wants to share or who wants to ask any question, the stage is open.
हेलो मैम. आई थिंक जनरेटिव लिसनिंग में प्रॉब्लम ये है कि मतलब कुछ लोग रहते हैं कि मतलब वो उनको साथ बात करना भी काफ़ी मुश्किल हो जाता है. मतलब अभी उनका मतलब क्या बोले कि हम हर चीज़ में एकदम मतलब ये हमारी डाउनलोडिंग भी हो सकती है लेकिन एक ये होता है कि उनके साथ डील ही नहीं कर सकते.
Yes, I understand that. यहाँ आपका काम क्या है ऐसे लोगों के साथ?
मतलब मैम अभी वर्क प्लेस में जहाँ पर हम काम करते हैं ते कि मतलब वो लोग कभी आएंगे भी नहीं या फिर हमेशा मतलब डिच कर देंगे या फिर क्या बोलेंगे हम वो जो उनका हिस्से का काम रहता है अगर वो लोग ना करें तो फिर वो हमारे ऊपर आ जाता है तो फिर उनके साथ कम्युनिकेट नहीं कर सकते हम और उनकी इच्छा ही ऐसी रहती है ना तो फिर वहाँ पे यही नहीं हो जाता क्या बोल मतलब कम्युनिकेशन नहीं होता तो उसके बाद फिर हम कुछ आगे ही नहीं बढ़ पाते ना.
Right, very good point. And this is a very common challenge at workplaces. And this is a common challenge everywhere in healthcare industry, in corporates or any technical field. This is the challenge. Why? Because people are not aligned with the intention of their being in that space. When you are not aligned with your intention and you don't know other people's intention, it will always be a challenge. And for this, what is required is to create a dialogue to know what their intention is to be in this team of that particular work. So it is not that we cannot keep on blaming people कि ये नहीं करते वो नहीं करते, but the solution is to create that space of dialogue with them. I will not say that generative listening will happen with every person you meet, but dialogue can happen where you can initiate the conversation of what is your intention of this, of working in this company or in this hospital. This is my intention, and before that, to just break the ice, you can share your intention, and for that you need to have clarity about your intention of why you are there in that workspace, and then they will start working on their intention. And when you ask, maximum people say मैंने कभी सोचा नहीं यार, क्यों सैलरी मिल रही है, पैसे मिल रहे हैं, हो रहा है ना, बस अभी डिग्री मिल रही है, यही करेंगे, और कोई चांस भी नहीं है ना, और कोई है ही नहीं अपने पास ऑप्शन. The maximum people will means give you this answer. It is okay because more than half of the world is half asleep and they are sleepwalking. And just because they are sleepwalking, you can choose to sleepwalk with them.
ओके मैम.
You can take an initiative to start a dialogue and to see with curiosity. Curiosity never ends.
मैं इंटरप्ट.
Yeah, sure.
मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि इसके लिए करेज भी चाहिए. क्यूरोसिटी के साथ करेज. विदाउट करेज ओपन विल और ओपन माइंड हो ही नहीं सकता. अगर आपको रिक्वायर है कि आपको वो रिलेशन में कुछ इम्प्रूवमेंट चाहिए, तो अदरवाइज जैसे चल रहा है सबका चलता ही रहता है. एफर्ट्स हमें ही लेने पड़ते हैं.
ओके मैम.
So, Mahesh, what opened up for you when you said, okay, ma'am, I could just hear the, disappointment in that okay.
मैम एक्चुअली द सीन इज दैट मीन्स कुछ टाइम पे हम डील भी नहीं कर सकते, इस मतलब ये हो जाती है ना, दूरी बन जाती है. तो मतलब मेरी तरफ से मैं इनकेस किसी को ये कि हाँ हम लोगों को ऐसे करना है, लेकिन सामने वाला कभी मतलब थोड़ा सा तो रिस्पॉन्स चाहिए रहता है ना कि इन चीज़ों में हम कितना भी कर सकते हैं, उसमें नो प्रॉब्लम. मेरी तरफ से मुझे पता है कि क्या प्रॉब्लम है, क्या चल रहा है, तो इस ऐसा है. सो यही मुझे मतलब बोलना था.
Yes, Mahesh. So, for that, uh, first you need to find out what do they want and what is their problem. What do they want? If you just go on talking about what you want, it is not going to co-create anything. You need to find out what they want. If they are not coming to the workplace on time or regularly, why are they doing so? And this will require curiosity and courage both, because unless and until you're trying to know, you will always be entangled with the data of these people are irregular, they don't care about their work. But you don't know the reality unless and until you are trying to look for the disconfirming data.
यस मैम.
Your work is to look for disconfirming data by having that curiosity and open mind. Let me see why they are doing so. What is stopping them from doing so? What is the problem? For example, if a child is not ready to go to school regularly, and this happened with my own child, well, स्कूल जाना ही नहीं चाहता है, स्कूल जाना ही नहीं चाहता है. एंड इफ यू लाइक स्कूल जाना अच्छा होता है बेटा, रेगुलर रहना चाहिए, सिंसियर रहना चाहिए, अगर आप स्कूल नहीं जाओगे, पढ़ोगे नहीं, तो फिर एग्जाम में पास कैसे होगे? सिर्फ पास थोड़ी होना है, हमें तो अच्छे मार्क्स भी लाना है ना। देखो तुम्हारे बड़े भैया को इतने मिले, मुझे इतने मिले, या उनको उतने मिले, तुमको नहीं करना है ऐसा। देखो उनका तो, वो तुम्हारा जो 2 साल सीनियर था उसका तो ये सत्कार हुआ, उसको वो अवार्ड मिला, वो मेडल मिला, तुम रह गए तुमको भी ये मिलेगा। What is the reality? The child does not care. The child does not care about award, medals, marks, degree, पैसे, job. उसको कोई लेना देना नहीं है. But the is the child doesn't like the teachers because the teachers are constantly scolding and using some bad words, and this child feels that there is no fun in going to school. So when, unless and until you try to listen and look for the disconfirming data, you will never know the reality. And all the school years, you will give your child the uh, this nightmare of memory that my mother always, never tried to understand me, or my parents never tried to understand me. मैं तो forcibly मुझे school भेजते थे, मुझे नहीं अच्छा लगता था school जाना. Do you think that this kind of approach will improve the child to earn more marks or to create any breakthrough in career or studies? Unless and until we are trying to look for the disconfirming data, we will always keep on judging people, be it our own child or parents or siblings. हमेशा जज करने में जिंदगी निकल जाती है लोगों की.
यस मैम, वो तो है मतलब.
So from our work is to just see from where they are coming, from where they are coming.
एक्चुअली मैम मतलब प्रॉब्लम कैसा हो सकता है कि इन केस मतलब उनको आदत नहीं सुबह उठने की, तो वो जल्दी नहीं आ सकते, या फिर उनको आदत नहीं होगी कि इतने आवर्स काम करने की, या फिर उनका मतलब इसके पहले उनकी लाइफ स्टाइल भी वैसी होगी ना, तो ये चीज़ें भी हो सकती हैं.
हो सकती है, करेक्ट, वेरी गुड. नाउ यू आर जस्ट ट्राइंग टू क्रॉस द बाउंड्रीज, यू आर जस्ट ट्राइंग टू क्रॉस द बॉक्स. आप अभी अपने माइंड से थोड़ा बाहर जाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं.
यस मैम.
Because when I was speaking, you were listening intently. That's why this idea was generated. This is
यस
called
मैम.
generative listening. Do you feel that something has changed from within you after this conversation? Is before this conversation you were driven by some particular downloading, and after this something has changed. Do you feel that? Yes, yes, no, no. It's okay. You don't need to please me.
मैं मतलब मुझे क्लियरिटी तो आ गई है प्रॉब्लम कहाँ पर है, और मतलब अब मैं इसके बाद में मतलब समझ पा रहा हूँ कि वो किस प्रॉब्लम से जा रहे हैं, फिर उसका ये तो इससे काफ़ी ये भी आ जाता है कि हाँ मतलब ये प्रॉब्लम था, एटलीस्ट मुझे प्रॉब्लम का तो पता चल गया है. और अभी मतलब इट्स ओके. अभी मतलब ये तो गए, मतलब जाएंगे दिन, लेकिन उसके बाद जो भी आएंगे लोग उनके साथ तो मैं अच्छे से मतलब उनके इंटेंशन समझ पाऊंगा, या फिर उनके प्रॉब्लम्स क्या है वो समझ पाऊंगा. तो मैं भी, मुझे आसान जाएगा. मतलब मुझे जो तकलीफ होती थी मेंटली कि हाँ यार वो नहीं आ रहा, सिर्फ मुझे करना पड़ रहा है, इस डाउनलोडिंग से या फिर इस चीज़ों से तो मैं बाहर आ चुका हूँ मतलब.
Right. So, has this given you a new perspective?
यस श्योर मैम.
Great, great. Appreciate that. Appreciate for your open mind.
थैंक यू मैम.
Great, great. Yes, Kamini, you wanted to say something, I guess.
Yeah, oh, sorry. I was not able to unmute myself. Yeah, okay. Yes, Pallavi ji, thank you so much for all the great insight, and thank you so much. What I understand from this conversation is two things. जो हमने सीखा है, downloading and then factual listening and then generative, right? Am I missing anything, or this is the third one? Or इसमें भी कुछ था?
Downloading, factual, empathetic, and then generative.
Oh, empathetic. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So what I am understanding is generative means minus downloading plus empathetic, right? And of course a little bit of factual also, because unless and until you know the fact, how do you connect with the person? है कि नहीं? तो
Yeah.
ऐसा मेरा इक्वेशन हुआ कि generative is equal to minus downloading plus factual plus empathetic. ऐसा मेरा कुछ हुआ इक्वेशन.
from your perspective, you are absolutely right, Kamini. But if you
हम्म
look at it from the general point of view, then you are never minus downloading.
ओ आई नो होता तो नहीं है बट हम कोशिश करते हैं कि भाई डाउनलोडिंग बीच में ना आ जाए और ये भी एक बात है ना पल्लवी जी की जरूरी नहीं है कि डाउनलोडिंग नेगेटिव ही हो इट कुड बी पॉजिटिव टू
Downloading is data.
हाँ डेटा
I,
है
for example, my husband is a very good man. It's a downloading.
ट्रू बिलीफ हम लोग बिलीफ बोलते हैं उसको या ओके
Exactly. Downloading है. तो
या
मतलब लाइक डेटा, आप बस उस चीज को लेकर चल रहे हो.
या
वो
ट्रू ट्रू
कंक्लूजन है, आपका परसेप्शन है.
Yeah, true. So in generative listening, as you said that you create a gap, right? If
In
I'm
generative
understanding properly.
listening, you don't go.
How do you define in one word the generative listening?
You hold the space for co-creation.
Yeah, hold the space. So you create a space, right? You create it or
You
you hold
hold
it.
the space. You don't create the space. You don't do anything. You're just there in the moment, listening to other person. And
Okay.
your work is constantly suspending the data that is getting processed in your mind, and you don't have any agenda to reach up to generative listening. There's
Mm-hmm.
no,
So what do you mean by you hold the space? Can you elaborate that?
yeah, holding the space. When I'm talking to someone,
Mm.
for example, Kamini is
Mm.
there in this meeting. So when I saw that Kamini has raised her hand, my first downloading was, this person is always there in the meeting, but
Mm.
she never switches on her camera.
I have a problem with the
No, no, just a
system.
minute.
Yeah,
You
I
never
understand
answer
what
this.
you're saying.
This
Yeah.
is the download that is going in my head.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how am I going to connect with this person? How
Mm.
is it
Mm.
possible for me to have the empathy and compassion?
Mm.
Immediate, suspended.
Mm.
Let me see what comes next. Let me see what comes next.
Okay.
So when Kamini started speaking,
Mm.
I am trying to be on the other side of the table
Mm.
by stepping into her shoes and looking at the conversation Pallavi had with
Mm.
me from her point of view. Okay, and now this person has asked me, what did you discover? Then I redirect
Mm.
and be in the moment and let go of all my downloading that I was holding for Kamini.
Yeah, true. Okay. Hmm.
Whatever it is, it is.
So that is called holding the space.
That is holding space, and now Kamini can speak
Hmm.
whatever she wants to.
Okay.
But if I am processing my downloading,
Hmm.
Kamini switches on her camera, इनको समझ नहीं होता है. Actually,
Hmm.
Kamini will not feel driven or courageous enough to open her mind and heart in front of me because I am running my downloading.
Yeah. So
And
you're sending that vibration. You're sending that.
this is the language of the soul
Hmm.
and your energy transfers.
Yeah, the energy transfer. Yeah. Right. Okay.
That's why
Hmm.
it is about holding the space for the other person to come.
To allow him, to allow the whatever his viewpoint to come in, right? Is that
To
right?
allow
Yeah.
so that we can co-create.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
We can
Hmm.
co-create. I am not doing anything, see?
Hmm.
Not I and you. It is
Hmm.
not that you can speak and I will listen. Again, this
Hmm.
is separation. This is ego silo. But when
Hmm.
I say, let us see what we can create.
Okay. Okay.
So we are connected now. We
So
are one
you
now.
can create a positive outcome of the conversation.
Nothing about positive and negative.
Mm-hmm.
I am
Okay.
curious to see what opens up.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Just curious to see and let it unfold. कली को फूल बनते
Itself,
हुए.
unfold itself. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, got it. Okay. So again, to understand better, is all this what we discuss about the four listening? वो तो है ही. So when do you think that we should apply empathetic, we should apply generative, वो सब एक एप्लीकेशन होती है ना, तो how does it work? Or you should take a उसका पूरा निचोड़ लेके फिर उसको हम आगे चलना है. Is that what?
In every conversation, Kamini, you're going to climb the ladder. First
Yeah.
problem downloading आएगा ही आएगा.
आएगा ही आएगा.
Downloading जैसे ही आएगा ना, मेरा काम है उसे सस्पेंड करके to look for the disconfirming data. Disconfirming data means factual.
Okay.
Facts
Got
हैं यहाँ से.
it. हाँ.
तो disconfirming data मतलब जो मैंने आज तक पास्ट में पकड़ के रखा था, डिफरेंट डेटा मिल गया.
Okay.
मुझे ऐसा लग रहा था दिस पर्सन डजंट लाइक मी, लेकिन मुझे ये पता चला उस पर्सन को तो इन्फिनिटी कॉम्प्लेक्स है, तो मेरे साथ कोई प्रॉब्लम ही नहीं है. दिस पर्सन इज ऑलरेडी डीलिंग विद हर और हिज प्रॉब्लम. मुझे पता चला था और ओ माय गॉड मैंने इतने सालों तक क्या सोचा. तो मुझे डिस्कन्फर्मिंग डेटा मिल गया. जब भी आपको डिस्कन्फर्मिंग डेटा मिल जाता है, देन फैक्ट्स मिल जाते हैं, तो कंपैशन आना आसान होता है. एम्पैथी.
True.
नाउ अच्छा आई नो द रियलिटी. और जब एम्पैथी आती है तो ऑटोमेटिकली आपका डाउनलोडिंग सस्पेंड हो जाता है इतने सालों का.
Okay. Got it.
And then जब आप एम्पैथी के स्पेस में हो, इट इज नाउ इजियर टू लिसन टू द अदर पर्सन.
Correct.
नाउ यू आर अलाउइंग,
Correct.
now you're creating the space, so it
Okay.
becomes like river flowing down, waterfall की तरह effortless co-creation.
Oh, great. Okay.
If you just let yourself to be fluid, आप बहने देते हो उस मोमेंट में.
Okay, got it. Oh, beautiful. Okay. Yeah, understood properly. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, got it. Thank you so much, Pallavi ji. Thank you. Sorry for this camera stuff. I have to go into my setting. वो मेरे बेटे को बोल रही हूँ, but वो नहीं हो रहा है. But कर
That's
लूंगी.
okay. That's okay,
Hopefully
Kamini.
कर लूंगी
My
मैं.
downloading, my work is to suspend it. It is okay, absolutely
I
okay.
know.
Appreciate your
Correct.
active participation, and I must say that because you held the space right now, I have gotten the wow moments because this conversation that is coming, it is coming because of the co-creation that you have participated in.
Yeah. True.
So
Very
thank you
nice.
for
Very
creating
nice.
this.
Thank you so much for you too,
Yeah,
and the whole team.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yes,
ji.
yes.
Thanks. Bye.
Anyone else? All right, all right. I truly appreciate every one of you to join this call and hold. Even just holding the space is also something which is magical, and it all only comes from people who are curious, who are holding their mind open, who are demonstrating courage, and who have that childlike curiosity to see, let's see what are we going to create in generative listening, right? So when you are in generative listening, there is no separation between I and you, and it is a co-creation. New beautiful business ideas or any ideas and possibilities and eureka moments are created in this space. So your work is to just hold the space for that something magical to emerge, and that's why it is like creating your emerging future, because in this space you are not operating from the past and you are trying to get rid of your downloading every moment. And when you will experience this generative listening, you will feel being a human being, because a human is a being, not a doing. Human is not here to struggle, to get stressed out in relationships, or to try to put myself right, to prove myself right. No, when you're a human being, you feel more and think less. So thank you so much for holding that space for the team of Kindness Corner. Appreciate that. Hope that you had a great time with Kindness Corner, and see you in the next week with another distinction which is going to blow your mind. And in the coming weeks, we are going to see what can be the enemies to the generative listening, or what can be the enemies for empathy. If you're already practicing with us, then you are already aware of these enemies. But we are just going to confirm that data which is present within you. All right. So take care. Have a great weekend here ahead, and see you in the next week. Anyone who want to share or ask, the platform is open for the next 30 seconds. Otherwise, we'll log off. Thank you, Anjali. Thank you. Missed your participation today, by the way. did not hear your voice, but that's okay. I totally understand that. All right. Should we log off then? Take care. And if you want to ask any question, the group is open for conversation and communication. Bye bye and see you in the next week.